Hi, and welcome to Adam's shop. I am today working on a small project that needs repair. So, I am going into my backyard where I have set up my own home theater. And as you can see, I've got all the chairs, I've got the pit, the chairs, I've got it all. But what I have is a screen that I made that is now stained and mirrored, and it's dingy, and it's been out in the sun long enough where if I wash it, it just doesn't disintegrate. I can show you on this side over here. So you can see it's moldy, it's torn up, it ran into that stump right there, and I think it ran into that screw I put in there and got all torn up. And it's really dingy and dirty, and it's time for a new one. So I'm thinking it's not a hard project. I went down to Walmart and I bought 2 queen size sheets. I stitched them in the middle. Then I stitch them across the top and across the bottom. I run a PVC pipe through both sides on the bottom. I put a board up in the top on both sides like that. Then I clamp it on the top. And then on the bottom, which I'll show you when I go to hook it all up later, I hook up some bungee cords to some bricks to pull it taut so that it stays nice and taut. And then I have a beautiful screen to project on, which I'll show you the home theater later, but I wanted to show you how I do this project. So let's go inside and take care of that. And I'll show you the process I use to make this screen, because it's cheap and easy and anybody with a little sewing machine can do it. Let's head inside. All right, so I got the first sheet down. I got my assistant here, Rowan, to help me. Out of the way, boy. And then we get the second sheet, and we're going to put the second sheet right over the top of it, lined up the exact same. So that, you know, on sheets they have that top part right here that is double stitched. We want that to be on the outsides of the screen so they don't interfere. So really, we're only going to have one stitch line in the middle, and hopefully it'll be minimalized. I want to lay disclaimer right now. Yes, good boy. I'm no seamstress. I can work a sewing machine. I've made a dress and I've made some other stitch things, but overall, not a seamstress. I know there are probably better ways to do this, but this is how I'm doing it, making it work. Get off the sheet. Go on. Go on. Go on. Good boy. Go on. So I'm pinning the sheet here so that when I do go sew it, it won't go crooked. Very important to pin it and do your prep work. Just like if you were painting a house, you have to tape everything off. Really important to do the pin work correctly. All right, so here is my Kenmore sewing machine. Not too fancy. It's a pretty good machine. I've sewed a few things with it, sewed up some pants and shirts and things. It's got a whole bunch of different selectors here and stitching select switch, and you got your bobbin, and then I'll feed it through. Right now it's set up on black because the last thing I did needed black thread. We'll switch it out to the white, and then we'll get stitching. Shout out to my dad for getting this either for a birthday or a Christmas present. I still love it. Thanks, Dad. Okay, so I've got it all ready to go here, and I've got the sewing machine all set up with the right type of stitch that I want. I've got it just about in the right spot. I'm gonna put that down. I've got it all pinned, and that's one of the important parts, is pinning the whole seam. So as I'm pushing it through, I don't have to keep realigning it. I took out the first few pins, so I have to be careful on the first few pins, but after that, it should be really good. So let's just run a little line forward. That looks good. I did run one small test run and it ran real good, so we're just going to keep going from here and stitch, stitch, stitch. And there we have it. The first stitch line is done. So now we got to figure out the second run and how to do that one. Ding! Okay, I'm back into the other room now. I've completed the stitch. You can see it right there, and it runs all the way up. Don't worry about the wrinkles right now. All of that will come out in the wash. Haha, that's my hint for later. Okay, and now we're going to go over here. The next stitch we need to do is on the ends for the width. I know that I need 15.5 feet, or between 15.5 and 16 feet. So we're going to stitch back. So this was folded out. So we're going to fold it in 6 inches. We're going to take 6 inches off this side and 6 inches off that side. By doing this, it then shrinks it and makes it into my 15 feet 6 inches, which will be just about perfect for the dimension of the screen that I'm building. If you need a little bit bigger, you could leave it longer. So now we've got that, and I went ahead and I pinned it all the way down. So all I need to do now is run it through the sewing machine, and I'll do both sides, and then we'll come back and look at the next step. All right, so this is my reminder. Don't stitch out where you folded it back, because that'll put a stitch line all the way where the film will be viewing. Stitch it right on the end. So we're going to just stitch that up and do that right now. So this portion is sped up. If you think I'm moving fast, I really am. It's really important to keep everything going even, to keep the sheet all together even across. So you'll see me, I move it over right there. That keeps it from wrinkling and then stitching it incorrectly on accident, even though the pins are supposed to help stop that. Sometimes it happens. All right, so I stitched both sides up and I stitched the top, kind of saving a little bit of time here by not showing you all that, because it's repetitive. It's the same thing you just watched, except for another section of it. But I want to explain this section right here. And this is both for the top and the bottom, where you're going to fold it over and you're going to make the pouch. And this is what you can run your PVC pipe through or a board through, so that you can grab a hold of it and pull it taut. So I'm stitching this part right now. That'll be the final stitch. And then we can take it outside and figure out how it all goes up. All right? Enjoy watching the stitch, stitch, stitch. So I cut a lot of the sewing video out, because this can be a little monotonous watching the sewing machine just stitch. Okay, the sewing part of it is done. Now, the first time I did it, I broke out the iron and I ironed it a whole lot and everything. But I've learned since then, nice tip from a woman who shops at my store. She said, don't iron something large like that. Throw it in the washer with a wet towel. Let the dryer do the work. So that's what I'm going to go do now. We're going to throw it in the dryer, have it come out wrinkle-free. In the meantime, let's go outside, take down the big old one, and make room for the new one. So when I first started this project, I looked into buying a screen, but my custom size is really expensive. The next option, I thought, well, I'm only going to do this once in a while, I'll rent. Well, the cost of renting one can be just as expensive, so I decided, why not go this route? I'll just make it myself. And so after a lot of planning, here we are. It looks kind of bare without the screen up there, but see, I put that screen up 3 years ago, so it lasted 3 years just sitting out in the elements. That's not too bad. I think it was $22 total is what the sheets cost. That's not a big deal. Now we'll put this one up, and if I'm diligent, I'll take it down after movie season and tuck it away, and I'll have it for even longer than 3 years. We'll see what happens. So the next thing I'm going to do is wait for it to de-wrinkle, and then we'll stick the pipes back in it. As you can see, I've got the wood over here, and I've got the pipes over there. And it's just PVC pipe. And the wood, I'm not sure if this wood's going to fit in what I sewed, but we'll have to we'll just have to wait and see. I may have to use PVC pipe up at the top, but luckily I always have plenty of that around. So let's wait and find out. Okay, so we got the sheet out of the dryer. The boards I had were a little too wide, so I went and I got an old fence board I had that I had planed on both sides, and I am just now going to start inserting it into the one side of this. There we go, ready to go outside. Now, this is much easier when you have people helping you, but I'm okay with just doing it myself. So we're gonna put So let's just take a look here and we'll get a little closer so you can see what I've done. So down here, I've got a bungee cord. The bungee cord goes to a brick with a little wire and attaches to the sheet. And that's how it holds it taut. So you can see a lot of the wrinkles that came with it are now out. And that is water from my neighbor's sprinklers. But other than that, all set, all the way to the top and across, ready for the big premiere.